What's up guys, my name is Andre and in this video we're going to cover the initial bounce by levels report on edgeful.com. So this is actually a very powerful report. I highly recommend you guys check this out. So first, what is the initial bounce? The initial bounce is the high and the low of the first hour of the session. So let's look at this example right here. You can see this is the first hour of the session here. Let's look at a few other examples. This is the first hour of the session right here. So this indicator that I'm using here is the initial balance breakout by Edgeful. So you can actually get access to this as part of your plan right over here off to the side. It's going to ask you to put your TradingView username in here. So the way you can get access to that is you find your TradingView username by clicking up here. Mine is Edgeful, yours will be something else. Put that in, and then you'll see in your indicators section this invite only come up. You're going to see all of our indicators here. The one that I'm using is the initial balance and the market sessions. These are extremely important, especially for this report specifically. Now, on the initial balance indicator, you have the ability to customize it. And if you scroll down here, you can see we have each of these levels. It's the section that says levels here. And you can see I can turn on my 0.5, my 1, 1.5, whatever else, 2. And I'm going to explain what these are in a second. So right here, if we're looking from the IB low to the IB high, you're looking at 165 points. Right here, that's how I'm measuring it right over here. Now, if I go from my IB high to my 1, my level 1, that is another 165 points. This right here is the 0.5. So this is going to be half of the IB range to the top side of the IB. So you can see that's 82 points right here. Now, if I go from this one here to this one here, that's another 165 points. Now, the same thing applies to the downside right here. So if I go minus, if I turn these on, you're going to see the exact same thing appear to the downside. So again, the IB range is 165 roughly. You go from the IB low to the 1 level below. This is a full IB to the downside. The halfway point is right here. It is just a multiple of the IB range. So I'm going to turn off the downside ones so I can show you a few good examples. Okay. And now this report measures how often price will actually reach each of these levels. So in this case, you can see very obviously that the 0.5 are really the standout days in this case, which means that price will break out to the IB high and then touch this 0.5 and break out to the IB low and touch the minus 0.5. Those are the two most popular levels. Obviously, because if price gets to the 4, it has to touch each of the ones before that. Now, the way to use this, there's really two main ways to use this. One is, in this case, if you're long, you want to use these levels as targets, as profit targets, to take a piece off at each of these levels. These are very solid targets. They set up every single day. Now, the other way to use this is to say, if I don't think that price is going to get to my 2 level, which is the one up here, I can start to get short expecting a reversal or not expecting price to actually make it up here. So that is the other way where you can use it. It's for reversals. Now, personally, what I would recommend is if you go to this customization here, you can change the day type. I highly recommend you do this based on what's going on today. So if you click on this and you click on breakout days, you're filtering only for days that broke to the top side of the IB. And this is really the more important data that you want to be looking at. So you can see here that in the last 6 months on YM, 63% of the time prices touch this 0.5 level. So a high probability here that price is going to get here. So if you're entering, this is a wonderful target here. Now you can see that the odds really drop off here. The probability really drops off. So 21% that it touches the 1, which means that it is taking the entire IB range, which is 165 here roughly, and it's going to another IB high to the top side of the IB. So it is a large move that it needs to make, which is why the probabilities really drop off. But when you're looking at this, let's filter for the breakdown days for a second. And you can see for YM in the last 6 months, the downside moves have been a lot higher probability. So 74, 41% of the time. These are really great targets for you to take profits to the downside. So this is how I would recommend using this report. You can see all the instances down here. I personally think this is extremely powerful because you are using profit targets that are based on data, not an R multiple or not whatever else. It's based on data. These levels form every single day. And what you can do, which is really cool in the customization, is change the size of the IB that you want to look at. So if there is a smaller IB today, it's probably more likely that it can actually reach the bigger levels. If there is a bigger one, it is obviously less likely for price to get to the further out extensions. So let's look at an example here. Let's use this one right here, and I'm going to turn on my downside extensions. So you can see that it only touched the 0.5 here because this IB was actually, it appears to be a lot bigger. So this is 350 points almost. So for price to go another 350 points to the downside is not as likely, obviously. And that's why the size of the IB is very important when you're looking at this report. So I highly recommend playing around with this, playing around with these as well. This double break one will filter only for days that broke both sides. So keep that in mind there. I'm going to change my settings back. But this is an extremely powerful report. I highly recommend using this and the indicator as well. This will automatically plot for you every single day the levels you need, everything else. Super important, very powerful. And if you have any questions, please reach out to our support right over here. We're happy to answer anything you have. We're here to help you. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a good one.